JT on NFL Hits on the Believe Podcasting Network. Wow, I got a legend here. I'm excited about this with the Bills breaking news. Ruben Brown joins us, a 9-time Pro Bowler, one of the greatest guards of all time. And Ruben, with the Bills news with Josh Allen, thanks for coming on with me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, John. And, this news hits hard in Buffalo because if people know anything about Buffalo, they live and die with the Buffalo Bills. And they had high hopes for this season. And with Josh being day to day, it puts a lot of worry and concern in the minds of the fans of Buffalo.
And it should. I mean, this is a great player. I have his stats here in front of me. I'll get to it. He's one of the most productive players in all of football. I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl before the start of the season. And Ruben, what gets me here is you want him to be healthy, but this could be the biggest game of the year in the NFL. If Josh was 100% going up against Kirk Cousins and the 7-1 Minnesota Vikings, this is the type of game everybody wants to see.
Everyone loves to see these games. And, when you have these type of matchups, you want each team to be at full capacity. You want the two heavyweights going at it and throwing blows. I mean, we here in Buffalo, everyone wants to see Josh Allen ascend that mountain of greatness. And that can't happen unless you play great players or great teams and defeat them. So this would have been a great opportunity for him to continue to ascend to an MVP level, but it's questionable whether he will even play the game, which sounds to me at this stage sounds like it's doubtful that he will play on Sunday.
Yeah, and he didn't practice. He didn't practice again as we record this on a Wednesday. I just want to give you some stats here for him. When I look at him averaging 300 yards a game, 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, what jumps out to me, Ruben, is his rushing yards. He's the leading rusher on the team over Singletary. He's got 392 rushing yards, and it blows me away. His average, 6.3 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns, and Singletary's behind him with 347 and no rushing touchdowns on the year. When you think about that, that is really skewed. That's a number where you want to have your running back, your featured running back, have more rushing yards and touchdowns typically than your quarterback.
Yeah, I've been crying that since last year with Josh. Actually, since the Buffalo Bills figured out that they were going to put the whole team on Josh's back, I kept saying, I said, hey, this guy is making yards in the run game with his legs, but give him some help and have someone else run it. It is definitely skewed. Not all of the rushing yards that Josh has is designed runs by him, but there is a large percentage of them that are designed for him to just roll out and run with the ball and such. And, it's great when it's happening, but I've preached that maybe you look at some other alternatives of getting run game going on the ground other than Josh, just in case of a situation like tonight, right now, what they're facing, where they're going to have to look at someone else to carry the load as far as rushing and running the ball now if Josh doesn't play on Sunday.
Yeah, and Ruben, on top of this, one of the problems with the Bills, and we saw in the last couple of games, giving up the rush in the middle of the field there, and the tackling on this team is supposed to be spectacular, and they have a great edge rusher in Von Miller and really good players when Milano's completely healthy and what they can do over the middle of the field. And look, they can't do everything perfect, but what I love about the Bills is they have stars or elite players at almost every position, the back end of the secondary, linebacker, edge rusher, and then you look at this elite offensive line. So as everybody's concentrating on Josh Allen heading into this Viking game, should we be a little bit concerned about the rushing defense?
Definitely, you should be worried about it because the Vikings has Cook over there. Cook is probably one of the tops. He's an amazing running back.
Yes.
And regardless of whether the Bills had a premier defense or not, Cook is a formidable running back for everyone in the league to have to, worry about and scheme and hopefully be able to contain. So they got their work cut out for them. I would say they've been exposed as being lacking in the run game, but they can make up for that if the Bills actually run the ball. you
You know,
know.
Ruben, what gets me crazy about this whole thing, and again, picking Buffalo to win before the start of the year, with the almost 20 years of Belichick and Brady and what they were able to do to the Bills. Now you have Brady out going to Tampa Bay. And this division is supposed to be wide open. All due respect to the Jets, and
Mhm.
obviously what we're seeing with the Dolphins, but the Bills are supposed to be far out, kind of the lead that we see Minnesota have,
Yeah.
5 games on the Green Bay Packers. Now Buffalo with Josh Allen's elbow injury, looking over their shoulder, and the Jets and the Dolphins. Which team are you more concerned about potentially tracking down the Buffalo Bills, the Jets or the Dolphins?
Well, I think the Dolphins have more in place for them to succeed in this situation. The Jets are newfound. I would say the Jets are like the Cinderella at the ball. You know
Right.
what I mean? You don't know when that other shoe is going to come off because they're young and they're hot right now, and they have a lot to learn and they're building something. But it seems like Miami has a little bit more there, and definitely with Tua and the play that he has, he supersedes what the Jets are doing over there with Zach Williams and with Zach Wilson. But
Mhm.
I worry more about the Dolphins, and I worried more about the Dolphins even before we even played them this year, and it turned out we lost due to a tough game.
Yeah.
But the Dolphins have been motoring along here and playing more consistent ball than the Bills have actually
Hey,
lately.
Ruben, going to as many Pro Bowls as you went to with the Bills in Chicago, having the legendary career you had at guard, what is it like when you quickly find out on a Thursday or a Friday that the starter, and I'm talking the Pro Bowl starter, isn't going to be able to go? You got a player that's coming in who's capable, like Case Keenum, and it's your job as a leader, the foundation player on the offensive line, to get everybody in line quickly and remind them it's another game. You got a really good backup quarterback. Let's go win the game.
Well, that's where building chemistry and a bond with all the players on your team, not just Josh Allen. I'm sure that offensive line and offensive group they are bonded with their backup and Keenum. They understand who he is. They know what his weaknesses are, know what his strengths are, and they're going to be there to support him in that process because now they've lost a great talent in Josh, and they all really have to step it up and be as sharp as each one can possibly be. They can't do any more than what they've already done for Josh, but they just have to be sharp and cut down the mistakes to help their backup quarterback. And they all know that. And I knew that when I was a O lineman. I knew my backup quarterback was going to need a little bit more assistance with me. I was a little bit more verbal about my direction and points and communication just to help him process and move quicker.
I love that. I love that your leadership that you would say that you said that again. You wanted to be more verbal, and you're a
Yeah.
guy who was a leader, so you felt like you had to be more verbal. Was that in practice leading up to the game, or especially on game day?
Oh, I did it in practice too. One of the things, like a small trick that I learned from Kent Hall, who was a great center,
Yeah. Wow.
when I was trying to catch up to the K gun offense, it was moved very fast. So whatever Kent Hall would say, I would then repeat it down the line. Now that helped me, but then also it helped the communication from the rest of the guys. And I would do it so much where guys would be like, okay, all right, Ruben, we got it. We got it. It's
Yeah.
almost overkill. And I did it a lot with Olin Kreutz when we were in the Bears and we went to the Super Bowl. And I mean, we had two, three, four different quarterbacks behind us. And Rex Grossman and those guys said that really helped to hear that communication. So that helped them process fast too.
No one I'd rather talk to with the Josh Allen news. Again, it's not devastating news, but Ruben, as we wrap this up, he has a pitcher's injury. And
Yeah.
here's what's scary. If he was a pitcher, if this was the Buffalo baseball team, if they had one in the major league, he'd be shut down and might have to have Tommy John surgery and be done for the year. Fortunately, as a football player with some rest and some treatment, maybe he can work through this in the next couple weeks.
You know, here's the big picture. The big picture is let's make sure this isn't long term. Let's
Right.
not get greedy and try and say, hey, we have to win it all now and rush him back too soon. That's that because we have to plan for these types of things. We know football, all the players are possibly can have an injury. So you ever have alternative plan. And this is also a good time for the Bills to galvanize themselves and win games without Josh. So that moves them towards their goal of Super Bowl. If they can do that and then get back a healthy Josh, they become even more dangerous. But a limping Josh through the season into the playoffs is not going to be good for this year nor years coming from now.
You're so good. You're a voice of reason. I'm on a text thread with my Buffalo boys I went to college with, and they're all Bills fans,
Yeah.
and they're worried about home field and the 1 seed in the bye week. And I said, no, I'm going to talk to Ruben. I'm going to calm the noise down here. You can't be talking now about 1 seed and having a week off and all that. You nailed it. You got to make sure that this quarterback is healthy. Everyone knows the Bills are a playoff team and probably a high seed. Get Josh Allen right so you can go on the ultimate goal march of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely. Josh is a once in a generation quarterback. This is the quarterback that franchises look to have for over 10 years and get multiple Super Bowls. So let's not jeopardize it now, knowing that we can win a Super Bowl with him and injure him in a way that all the dreams get derailed.
All right, last one. I'm out here in Vegas. I'm hosting NFL Hits from Vegas, Raider Nation. I work for the team, and all of a sudden, Jeff Saturday, another elite offensive lineman like yourself, great star center for Peyton Manning. He's going to coach the Colts, and no one knows what to expect. Now, as a former player, do you respect that move from the owner, or do you think they went too far? And there's a lot of other coaches who are much ahead in the pecking order in line who deserve an opportunity like that before Jeff Saturday.
I actually think this is awesome. The time that we spend as players, I'm surprised that we don't get an opportunity to move into these positions sooner and more often. I know Bruce Matthews, Steve Wisniewski, and all of these guys had to go do grunt work just to get an assistant's job in the league. When Bruce Matthews and Steve Wisniewski, I don't know, there's one offensive line coach or coach in the NFL that's got more knowledge and what can teach more than just those two guys. I got 1,000 other names of players. And I could go on and on about this. You see it done in the NBA. You see it done in Major League Baseball. Wow. Why can't we do it in NFL? I mean, I spent my entire life in football. You telling me I can't coach a team? I could coach any team. I can coach a geriatric team, a midget little league team, all the way to the pros. So I'm so happy that Jeff got the chance, and he's an offensive lineman. And the offensive lineman, pray to God he shows them, because we are the smartest group in the whole clique.
I agree. And you just said something on all my radio shows and podcasts that no one said. Yeah. You compared it to other sports brilliantly. Steve Nash goes right to coaching, right? Yes. And you say, what does Steve Nash know more than Ruben Brown or Steve Wisniewski or Jeff Saturday? That's a very interesting point, that other sports will take a former catcher, a baseball catcher, and throw him in AAA 1 year and bring him up to the major leagues.
Absolutely.
That's an absolute great point you make, but he hasn't called the game, and it'll be interesting to see, and they're playing with house money as they come into Vegas in a big spot. Hey, Ruben, thanks a lot for doing this with the Bills Josh Allen news. I knew you'd be perfect for NFL Hits. I look forward to talking to you again.
Anytime. Call me up anytime. I'm here for you.